Last year, I beat Classic Hardcore on a mage who could only use arcane spells by not dying a single time on my journey to level 60, with the added restriction of not being able to trade, use the auction house or group with players outside dungeons. This already is a challenge not just anyone is cut out for. This year, instead of being able to only use arcane spells, I now can't use a single offensive spell, limiting myself to the use of buffs and items. Welcome to the melee-only mage. The Staff of Westfall is a rare quality staff attained by bringing the head of Van Cleef to Grand Stout Mantle in Westfall. The DPS increase this would bring is insane, a whole 33% higher than the respective common quality item for the same level. The Deadmines run needs to happen for several reasons. One, it will give me a ton of experience, which puts me ahead of my enemies in levels, something that is severely important to avoid glancing blows and heavily speeds my questing rates. Two, there are many potential gear upgrades inside the dungeon itself, and three, the quest will reward me with a staff with DPS unlike anything I can get my hands on at this level. But being a melee mage, my options for groups are slightly limited, and I refuse to be outright carried without at least making an effort to compete. But how could I possibly compete with anybody at this level? Well, world buffs are powerful tools that boost my stats by an insane amount. The Spirit of Zandalar increases my movement speed by 10% and base stats by 15%, which is decent, but Rallying Cry of the Dragon Slayer increases our crit chance by 5% and attack power by 140, which at this level is absolutely crazy. This buff alone increases our damage per second by 10, which is a 70% increase. Of course, we're not done yet. Before getting these two buffs, I scavenged all my silver together and bought the level 20 vendor staff. Again, if I'm going to go through the Deadmines, I want to work for it. With my last pennies, I bought some runes of teleportation and traveled to set my Hearthstone to Astronar for part 2 of the plan. As soon as the Rallying Cry went out, I Hearthstone to Ashenvale, where I had my escort ready and waiting to bring me into Felwood. It's just, let's hope the Sunflower is up, you know? Maybe I should have logged my mage and checked before. The Songflower Serenade is gained by activating a cleansed Songflower in Felwood, a zone filled to the brim with level 40 plus enemies. Getting to this buff was extremely risky. This is worth it for one Deadmines run, as I had to log out and cleanse the flower on my other mage, but the payoff is huge. 5% crit and plus 15 to all stats at this level is amazing. But I'm back, baby. Give me the flower. Let's go. What? Wait, I didn't get it. Oh, I kinda happened to miss that it required level 50 to attain. Whoops. Fret not, because part 2 of the plan was actually only a precursor to part 3. War Chief's Blessing increases health by 300, as well as melee attack speed by 15%. Accounting for our other stacking modifiers, this ends up being quite the upgrade. Unfortunately, the buff is only attainable by being either in Orgrimmar or the Crossroads, the opposite faction zones. And even if we could get there, it only applies to the player if they are Horde, and seeing as we are Alliance, it's not possible. Yeah, I mean, everybody knows I'm lying. Of course it's possible. If you get mind controlled by a Horde player as Alliance, you are eligible for the buff. All I have to do is make my way through the Barrens to the Crossroads, find a place where I do not pull the guards, then Makarov pad on his Horde that has the mind control cap, because you can't MC in normal duels, and I will have the buff. As soon as the buff goes out, I teleport back to Stormwind and start bolting it towards the Deadmines, because we are now on a 1 hour timer before they start running out. Unfortunately, Darkmoonfire wasn't active at the time, so we are missing one buff, but it's fine. Okay, so let me introduce the team. First up, we have Pad on the Hunter. You might know Pad as the guy who just mind controlled me, or the guy who usually dies.
Oh my fucking god, guys, are you fucking dumb or something?
Second, we have Beberg. And that's the team. 1 Hunter, 1 Priest, and 1 souped up melee mage versus the mines. Where's the tank?
this episode of Melee Mage, I get boosted in Deadmines.
Boosted? My DPS is respectable.
Is it though?
Respectable for a melee mage, maybe.
Yeah, I would argue yes. My god, it sucks. I found something. I'm sure you guys can go. Oh shit, they're here! Help! Guys. Oh. Oh, here we go. Oh shit.
Here we go, what? What are you trying to do right now? You cannot AoE, like...
Oof, this was a scary pull, guys.
I've had Jumpers trying to get us killed.
I was just fighting a bit. Running as 3 is actually pretty good for several reasons. Yes, the run will take longer, but the XP distribution is split between less people, meaning we get a lot more. For me, that's significant because my normal leveling speed is not very fast. Also, all gear that drops is basically guaranteed for myself to get. Of course, they could roll for it as well, but they won't, because of the implication.
Some pulls, I think.
I mean,
Did
the
you
thing
just
is
pull
about,
sneak?
like...
Apparently. No, I didn't. I pulled the goblin, but it also just changed us.
Yeah. But we
Kill
can
one
fight that, right? You'll start to notice a trend in this run, that the actual time we're in any danger is because somebody thought it would be a good idea to pull at certain times.
Holy...
Wow. That is crazy.
So that's what those gloves are for.
this is the first time they've been used ever. Lastly, the money split is higher from enemies and I get to loot a lot more often, which is significant because I am self-found.
Just think about it this way, after we're done with this, he has to like suffer.
Yeah, I guess a lot of suffering.
No, it's actually less suffering because I'll have the staff.
Ah, yes.
Yo, okay.
Holy fuck.
What do I spec? This is intense, guys.
Yeesh.
Who knows what will happen? Oh, like, what is this run, man? Like, it's perfect loot. While we're progressing through the Deadmines, I thought I'd read you a review of my game. Hello, idiot dev. Earth to idiot developers. Hey jerks, your game sucks. The difficulty is tuned by a 5-year-old. You are idiots. Can you friggin' make it so I can get the skills I want? Your RNG is rigged, you bozos. Yeah, anyways, I made a game. It's got 4.7 out of 5 on average. Check it out. I could usually reliably off-tank enemies without taking damage thanks to mana shield. And as long as we kept enemies off the healer, the run was actually quite smooth. Don't worry, I'll take care of the little 14 bat. No, what? Parrot. We're getting those two guys as well.
I mean, there's not really much I can do about that, I feel like.
Might walks down. We have the two guys as well.
Oh yeah, we have the two stuff. Let's get us first. Before we cannot kill the boss.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Bombs is gonna take damn here though.
I mean, yeah, just let me tank this wall shaper.
I'm going home. This is fucking...
Do we reset somewhere?
Yeah, don't know where though. Could you reset in the water? Can they swim?
We can.
Yes. Pet's about to die, can't do anything.
Yeah. There is a reset spot if we don't have the patrol on the crates on the right when we come in here. I'll tell you guys.
There shouldn't be a patrol.
So on these crates you jump up on the thing, like on the crates first and then on the thing. Like that. Yeah, so there we go. I learned this reset spot when I was solding this on sod.
Nice.
After the Smite incident being saved by my quick-witted thinking and previous experience, we easily progressed past the boss, up the boat where I found another ring, a pair of shoulders, before proceeding with the simple act of killing Captain Greenskin. What wouldn't be as easy was the next step, Edwin Van Cleef. Van Cleef starts the encounter with 2 adds, and spawns yet another set of 2 at 50%. On top of that, he is high level and deals a ton of damage. Coupling that with his health, the accompanying adds, it's going to be a very long encounter with high damage taken, something our healer might not be able to keep up with. But in my successful attempts to solo this dungeon on Season of Discovery, I did pick up a few tricks along the way. It started out simple, freeze one ad, kill the other. Once both were dead, we moved on to Edwin, but Bieberg's mana pool was already dwindling. Okay, do we want to like regen here before we push?
Problem is it's very hard for Bieber to regen because my
I
pet
don't
takes a
think
shit
a
ton of
region, like I say, I have to heal.
But we can jump down. if you want.
Oh, you mean like that?
Jumping down forces the boss to run all the way around, giving us plenty of time to regen our mana. The pet was sacrificed, but since you can rest in combat, it was not particularly important. It did put our healer at the top of the aggro table, so when the ad spawned, he simply jumped down again, dragging the boss with him, while Pad and I handled the new ads. I kept aggro on 1, slowly dwindling my shield to make sure the pet stayed alive with the absence of our healer. With a few minutes left on my world buffs, Edwin fell. Yo! Bro, this is like perfect loot run. It's actually stupid. What the fuck? And with that, a quick cookie aside, Deadmines had been completed. And honestly, look at the damage. I mean, of course it's not amazing, but considering I am a mage whose only source of damage is auto-attacking, having half the damage of a level 21 hunter is at the very least a little bit impressive. Pious Brotherhood. Staff of... Holy shit. Yep. 3 cheers for Melee Wizard. This land shall be ours once again. And now my world buffs are gone. So I just lost half my DPS. And as such, we were the proud owners of the Staff of Westfall, with a huge 35% increased DPS over our old long staff. So, let us recap. The Deadmines run has left us with a ton of upgraded gear, a new weapon, and 2 whole levels. And the last time we quested, I was level 19, which means since then, I have all the stuff from the Deadmines run, plus the spells gained at level 20. This includes Mana Shield, Blink, Evocation, Fire Ward, and more. So for the first time since starting this character, we will be able to quest like a normal gnome. At least for a little bit. I'm looking kinda good. Okay, it's been so long since I've played this. But like supposedly, I should just be able to tackle quests like normal now, right? I have like an insane amount of health. I have decent DPS. Okay, let's see, I guess. Oh my god, bro. No way. They're not even getting through my shield? Oh, that is so embarrassing for them. Like, the thing is, my mana regens is so high. My mana is just back at full by the time they, like, clear the shield out. It's all the spirit from this. Also this. Casting spells does reset the auto timer, which means I should cast spells whenever, like, a melee attack finishes. Like, yawn. Where's the thrill, man? Okay, I've upgraded to a swing timer. Now I know when I can cast spells. Casting a spell does reset my swing timer, which means I want to time every cast of a spell to happen right after an attack. I can also utilize the freeze from Frostbite or the general slow from Frost Armor to kite enemies. Because most enemies will have a faster attack speed than me even when reduced, this ensures we swing at each other at the same time, effectively reducing the damage I take by quite a bit. And finishing up Darkshore, we head into Red Ridge to find our first level since the Deadmines.
How are you?
Okay, only 2 hours and 28 minutes. For this one, you know, that's an upgrade. We keep this up, we'll be level 16 in like 100 hours. Questing like this feels surreal. I really never imagined there would be a part of this character where I didn't feel on the edge of death at every living moment. But right now, it's cruising by, and the challenge actually feels quite possible. Although as you can see, I'm quite a few steps ahead of the zone's recommended level, which is a major factor. There are 6 schools of magic: Frost, Fire, Arcane, Nature, Shadow, and Holy. The 2 former, Frost and Fire, are by far the most reasonable for me to deal with, thanks to Frost and Fire Ward, enabling me to absorb a significant portion of damage every 30 seconds. I have some innate arcane resistance from my gnome passive, but that and Shadow are still somewhat scary. Dampen Magic also helps with all schools, as it reduces all magical damage I take by a moderate amount. But by far the scariest 2 are Holy and Nature. Not only do I lack the means to negate the damage, casters of these schools most likely can also cast heals. With no access to interrupts or hard crowd control, I am stuck in a scenario where I have to fight most healers 2 times over, if not more, due to my lacking DPS. In World of Warcraft, your position updates every second or so. This is why you can run into buildings while mounted and stay as such for a while. The exception to this is if you, for example, land from a jump or strafe. If you notice, you will get instantly dismounted if you try to strafe or the moment you land from a jump. In my years of playing tank, I've also learned that enemies seem to follow you based on when your position updates. So, if you don't want enemies to move, you run forwards or backwards. If you want them to move, you strafe. This is significant because we can essentially force enemy casters to move with us if we start strafing as their cast ends, because they will adjust to our new position, which happens all the time. In TVC, this was, for example, used a lot to move uninterruptible casters into better positions for AoE or out of the way. But we can now use it to force enemies to follow my gnome, potentially limiting how much they cast. Now, does this actually work for reducing the amount of enemy casts? Anecdotally, I wanna say yes. In reality, I have no idea. Making sure casters melee us is very important, since we can defend ourselves against that using mana shield, making sure both of our resources are getting tapped, not just HP. All of these tools, when put together, the wards, dampen magic, and forcing enemies to move, is hopefully enough to make fighting casters a possible task. Okay, Den Mother. I'm not gonna lie, I feel pretty much invincible. Like, I'm so strong. Like, if something were to go wrong, I have like 50 tools at my disposal. And also the fact that I'm fighting some grey mobs. This cave is a great demonstration of holy spells doing what they do best. Screw me over. And perfect. The only saving grace in a few cases is them sometimes running out of mana, but I attack so slow that they can regen it back and cast again a lot of the time. Oh my god.
Our time is short.
Pusa.
Finishing up the more treacherous quests in Darkshore, we skirt along into Ashenvale. Oh shit, level 24, and this time only 1 hour 45 minutes without rested. Getting better. And while we are still ahead of the curve when it comes to levels, it is catching up to us at a rapid pace. While the Frost Talent tree offers a lot of utility and defensive capabilities at later levels, I would have to pick a lot of dead talents just to get there. So until I reach level 40, I'm spending my points in the Arcane tree. I can lower enemy resistances for the sake of my Frost armor, I can increase my own resistances, which is great against casters, while also regenerating my mana as I do so. I can also get more armor and increase the effectiveness of my dampen magic and mana shield, until eventually I get more mana regeneration while casting. Now, I'm not casting a lot, but for 5 seconds after a mana shield, my regen halts to a 0, then picks back up. But for enemies that quickly deplete my shield, getting that little bit of extra mana does increase my survivability just a little bit. Okay, so here's the tech. 20% chance to reflect frost spells while active. These talents are finally paying off. Okay, try me. Just shoot. That's right. You suck. You suck and I'm good. Wait, Frost Ward. Immune? Uh-oh. I just looked through the list, and I think Stone Talon might be my least favorite zone in the game, as a lion specifically. It's never good. It's always bad. After about an hour stuck in Stone Talon, I did a quick tour of the wetlands and later ended up in Duskwood. Okay, that's a lot of mana. Where I got level 26 after 36 hours of in-game time. And with that, our questing has finally caught up to our level, which means our time in the sun is officially over. From here on out, I will have to fight enemies closer to myself. And this, I later found out, will be a horrendously momental problem, as Blizzard themselves have hard-coded the game to make this challenge virtually impossible. But until then, thanks for watching. See ya.